Motherfucking welcome to a very special episode of Pels in the Blender, man. I got damn near the A-team in here. You hear me? I got my dog Cheddar. Listen, bro, this might be one of the most, like, as far as like player personnel, few like predictions of like the team. All it's just a mastermind of people. So first off, I want to welcome Mike, Lito, everybody know Chris, my man, fucking Cheddar Chad. Appreciate everybody in the building. This is y'all. Welcome. Appreciate y'all, dog. First off, how y'all fellas been?
Oh man, doing good, bro. That Juneteenth high, man. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed.
Living a dream, man.
Yeah, man. You know how it go. State your sources, you know.
Listen, I ain't gonna waste no time, bro. I kind of want we'll just start diving right into it. Pause.
That's crazy.
If you don't start off with the pause, you heard me. You ain't doing it right. So, listen, man. It's been a while since I had a chance to talk to y'all. Chris, I think maybe one of the last times we did an episode. I think maybe it was going into last season. We was talking about maybe some highs and lows of Trey Murphy and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we were again. I predicted the team to win like 50 games and shit like that. Clearly that didn't go well at all. So right now at this point, we coming off two terrible seasons, right? Two back-to-back seasons. And we in this off season where minimal moves have been made. Chaz, we are, you know, me and you run shows all the time, so I'm gonna pass to them first. Mike, I'll come to you. What do you make of the off season and like the lack of moves that we've been having so far?
I mean, it's your typical off season for like a small market team, right? For the most part, like the first couple of days or the first week, you get that first wave of you know, off season moves from like your large markets, all the trades and stuff like that. And then after that, like your small market teams make the small deals. Like I want to say it was like a week and a half later when we signed Looney last year. You know what I mean? We got like a full roster already, so you can't really go get. We ain't about to drop 30 M's on Walker Kessler. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, then we gotta, like, you know what I mean? Small moves. So at this point, like, it's really not much you can do. Like, you got Jordan Hawkins, like players like that who don't play. No, Anthony Simons went 2 for 13. He is making less than Jordan Hawkins and has been way better than Hawkins. But just to show you know what I mean? So I think we're going to make a move. Like, I don't think we're going to start the season with the roster we have. I saw someone online say something about, like, they think, like, Miles Turner going to end up on the Pels team. I do not want him on this team at all. But I can definitely see that happening, and I feel like that is going to be something that's going to happen soon. But, yeah, bro.
Lito, let me toss it to you real quick. Do you think, like, how do you feel about the lack of movement? There's been a lot of discussion about, and I've been one of the people pushing it, like the patient versus panic approach. How do you feel about the patience versus panic?
I mean, to be honest, like, I think the offseason going as I thought it would go. Okay. I'm not really like stressing. I ain't really tripping. For one, you don't have no money. You know what I'm saying? Like you playing with like 12 million. Like you got like a TPE in your pocket for real.
And one roster spot.
You can't, like, what is you gonna do? What is it? You know, me and Chris be talking all the time about this unicorn center that we need who can run a fast break, lead the break, come down, shoot a three, get 200 rebounds. Like, he ain't getting $12 million. No. So it's kind of like what do you expect them to do at that point? Now, I will say, I did think Trey was going to be traded somewhere around the draft, maybe draft night, from everything that we had heard. Chaz had been saying the opposite. I'll be tapped in, though. I'll be paying attention, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you know, like, I will give y'all that. You know, y'all have been saying that on your show. I just, for me, bro, like, I really think the Pelicans are in a space where they just kind of like, we going to run it back. We going to see what works. And we going to give, I hope they going to give the young guys a lot of minutes, see what works towards next season, and then know the avenues to branch off to.
I'm glad you mentioned the young guys and whatnot. Chris, how you feeling about the all season and whatnot, just in general, bro? Appreciate you, dog, coming back to the show as always. You hear me?
A lot of day ones in this motherfucker.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
You know what, bro? Mike had a perspective that I really hadn't.
That's crazy, dog.
Oh.
Speaking of Mike, that's funny. Mike had a perspective that I really hadn't thought about, bro. Because it's like, I look at it like when you think about past Pelicans, like you go all the way back to the Hornets. When you take a free agency, most of them been slow, right? I remember when Twitter was nowhere close to where it's at like now. And I remember I didn't even have a Twitter profile. I was looking every hour to see if the Pelicans signed Greg Oden. Every fucking hour trying to see if the Pelicans was able to sign Greg Oden for a minimum deal, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, knowing it wasn't nowhere in hell that was gonna happen. Like, he was gonna be the missing piece, right? So, you know, and even in previous years, it's been like this. The year before last, like I know y'all mentioned last year with Looney, but the year before that was I'm trying to think. Who did they sign like last
Daniel
minute?
Tice.
Daniel Tice,
Daniel
right?
Tice,
Like,
yeah.
Before that, it was waiting. It was a bunch of shit that went on, and then it was Cody Zeller, and it was like this has been this is like how it goes. And when they've had money, you get Solomon Hill, you get re-signing Omer Ashik, you get re-signing Alexis Agenza, like. Or you waiting all the way? To end to hope a Rondo want to come to you or a Tony Allen? All like it's just this is typically how it goes until you build up some brand equity to where people like, you know what? I like to move over there, or you gotta overpay, and just to be told no. Tim Hardaway, you tried to overpay, he told you no. Malik Monk, you tried to overpay him, he told you no. Like Kyle Lowry told you no. Chris Paul told you no. Like the list goes on and on, even when you were good. So part of that, like Mike's perspective, I think is right. And then the other side is it, or to it is if you was gonna have any opportunity, like we kind of knew this already. Trey Murphy is the asset you have to move to get the things that you need because of the situation that you in. Not having draft picks, not having money, not being a free agent destination unless somebody desperate and they all out of options, or you got a really good connection, you got a really good relationship. You don't think it's weird that Mo Wagner, who loves Jamal Mosley, who loves Sham God, he ain't think about it. He ain't think about New Orleans. He ain't waste no time. Oh, Brooklyn, fuck it, I'm over that. Like, so I mean, I think at the end of the day, for you to be looking at them having something to do, it would have to be through Trey Murphy. And if you want to be positive, now they got some leverage. Because when you look across the landscape, there's still some competitive teams that need to make some moves that's trying to win a championship or trying to compete. And Trey Murphy is now the biggest chip available. So now for the first time in a while, Joe and them can sit back and be like, all right, y'all fight it out and we'll take the best deal. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I look at it.
Appreciate that, Chaz. That's actually a great transition because to Chris's point, he talked about how because we're not a free agent destination, which again, man, we've been talking about for a while, it kind of put as other teams start filling out their rosters, they're still not technically in championship. I don't want to say not in championship window, but like Trey Murphy being like the final pieces to something like that'll maybe put a team over the top. Do you think that make the Pels more ideal, or do you think they put them in a situation where they feel like they have to move him, or they're just like, you know what, fuck him, we gonna hang on to him?
I actually think they got several options to add into the roster, truthfully, right? I think the front office might have ran into the same thing that David Griffin ran into initially, whereas it take a while to come to the realization that nobody want to live in New Orleans like that, bro. Like that's ultimately what it boils down to. The last major free agent acquisition the Pelicans had was Julius Randle. You know what I'm saying? Coming off an injury, MLE, he's trying to get his career back on track. That was a 1-year thing. You know what I'm saying? I think once people get here, you know, since it's so easy to steal money, they like to stay. But like typically it's like, where's everywhere else? All right, I'm gonna go there, especially if you're not like winning. Like for example, I know the Pelicans don't have a ton of money right now. I think it's at like maybe 9 million or something along those lines in one roster spot. But if you like, hypothetically speaking, if you was to waive and stretch Jordan Hawkins, you can get to maybe 12 million. Maybe get a guy like Gary Trent Jr. Not someone who necessarily a needle mover, but would address a need. You can move her. I think the issue they'll run into is, are you comfortable not winning the deal? Are you comfortable with bad PR? Right? Like, for example, if you traded Herb, not me, keep it real. I don't think Herb shit. That's just me. Speak for me. I don't think Herb does anything. But I'm just keeping it $1, right? Now you done another thing, he's super overpaid. Think the contracts are negative now. If you was to move Herb for Max Strus, to me, major upgrade in 3-point shooting, but the PR blowback would be a bit of a disaster. But not only did you get a good player who just had a great postseason, you cleared your money for next year. You got off of $20 million that you have to pay Herb Jones next year. But in the short term, you got to be like I guess the PR would have to be able to see the forest for the trees. So I think they got avenues to do things like, but it's all about, are you comfortable taking a perceived quote unquote L? Because it'll take till you see Max Strus hit about 4 threes in a row. People are like, you know what? Herb was a good guy, but you know, it was, you know, best of luck to him. You know what I'm saying? Because once you win, nobody gonna care about anything. So I absolutely think they got some avenues, but it's like, do you want to tie up money for next year? Do you believe in Herb? Do you believe in Eve? Because if you believe in Eve, you probably not tripping on the center. Like, and you got the Jamal Mosley effect, because Jamal Mosley came to the Magic and it was an immediate, I think they won like an additional 12 games the following year. Like stacked that up the following year, almost counts, but they almost eliminated the number 1 seed this season. So there's that factor, like, nah, we get Mosley with those guys, you know, maybe those 21 blown 4-quarter leads, maybe we trim that down, maybe get it down to 8. You know what I'm saying? That's 13 more wins right there. Same roster. DeJounte didn't play all year. Herb can't play any worse. Zion's going to have a higher usage. Queen going to take another step. Fierce going to take another step. Like, I understand reasons for optimism, even if I don't agree with every point. But I think they got avenues to do certain things. And I'll close and say this. I do think, even with like Anthony Simons, I think Philly $6 million going to go a longer way than New Orleans $6 million, because I want a contender. Or even like Miami wanted to offer him the minimum. I think it was another team, Miami. I forgot who, wanted to offer him the minimum 1-year deal. And it's like, I might as well go be somewhere nice and comfortable versus, you know, my AC go out and, you know, Frank and Gentili, and I'm asked out. Like, you know, so it's a real thing. My AC went out today. It's a real thing.
Them fucking ACs don't stand a chance in this bitch in the summer, boy. I tell you what, like if you about check, it's 93 on a cool day.
We had a rolling blackout in my AC. Everything went out.
Ooh, that's cold blooded.
Got this candle right here, you know.
But y'all actually make a lot of good points, which I kind of want to, because we already know, and most people already know that, listen, bro, New Orleans ain't never been a free agent destination. You kind of just stuck with whatever it is that's left at the end. And at the end, we'll see what's left, whether it be a player like Gary Trent Jr., or if you do have to make a Herb for Strus type of deal. Lido, Chris, Mike, I'll ask y'all this. Do y'all think that they can afford, after spending a full season of taking backlash from the Queen deal? It took a lot for a lot of New Orleans people kind of defending Queen to a degree. And then you had to wait till a draft pick fell and all of that for it to kind of die down a little bit. Do you think this team can actually afford another like bad PR move from the fan base? Or you think they just kind of like, fuck it, you just got to do what you got to do regardless?
Sure. You got to do, like, my thing is, bro, like, even if I don't agree with your vision, if you consistently are sticking with an idea, you got the keys to be able to do that. And if it failed, it failed. The thing is that I don't want the waffling. You know what I mean? If you playing this two timeline shit like they've been playing, they've been sticking with it. You know what I mean? So why it wouldn't be my move, while it wouldn't be my approach to team building, they've consistently stuck with that throughout all the rumors. Is everything you hear about certain people not being untradeable true? No, they just ain't getting what they want for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody talk about this Yves Messi like he untradeable. He not untradeable.
Yeah.
They just getting the same offers now that they was getting in the trade deadline with the second round picks. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe highly protected first. You might as well keep Yves and see what he gonna do in the third in his third year for that. You know, so for him to go and
Thanks.
blossom as a backup big someplace else, and you don't have a center. So that's just like, the perspective element of it. The PR point, they can't give a fuck about the PR. They can't
Yep.
care. We could complain and cuss and rant and say anything negative we want, or scream from the mountains and be positive. They gotta stick with their vision. The thing, and I know, like, it's popular to say, well, they don't have a vision, but that's what it feels like, and it feels good to say that. But they got some kind of vision. May not be the vision we want, may not be the vision that we necessarily are asking for or believe in, but they got one. You know what I'm saying? Now I live in delusion land, to where me and Lito talk about this and we disagree about the talent on the team. He think I'm gonna let him speak, but I'm gonna speak for him because he don't deserve to speak that long. He say the team ain't all that talented. I disagree. I think if we talking straight talent, they could put out 8 players that are individually talented. It's just a fits for me. If you tell me their 8 best players get a lucky year where health is right, and some of these guys take steps that you should automatically expect. Chaz mentioned year 2 for Fears, year 2 for Queen. That's gonna happen more than likely. Them dudes ain't regressing, and one of them for sure ain't regressing. So Zion been working his ass off. If you get any type of increase in that between the idea of what you would want him to be, expanding his game, and what you actually get, that's going to be an improvement. You mentioned Mosley as well. There's going to be some kind of improvement in that. Even if it's just we have someone new in the building. That, bro, it's man, that fresh card, bro, is just different. I don't give a fuck what it is.
Even if it's
new.
you, Jeremy, if somebody
even
be like, that been new to you.
I mean, it's yours, bro. So even that period of not hearing that same voice and not hearing them same voices and seeing new people that got new approaches and shit, all that shit matter. I think if they got, enough to where you could paint a picture to me to where we back here talking about this same damn team for the most part winning 45 to 50 games. I don't think they have enough modern fits, but it ain't really about the talent. It's about making that shit work and having certain people make the tweaks that are needed ultimately to get the best out of, let's say, the core of this group. So they can't worry about the PR, man. They might be in a better situation than a lot of us think, bro. I mean, if we being honest, but it's for them to show us that shit. It ain't, I mean, they don't give a fuck what we talking about. I mean, I hope not.
Yeah, I feel that. Lito, we actually gonna pass it to you, and then actually you and Mike will be perfect for this because Chris mentioned the roster, and I kind of wanted to transition into like the talent on the roster anyway, unless y'all wanted to speak on a different point. But like, what do y'all feel about the talent level on the roster? Do you think the roster is talented? There's a deficit of talent. How does it compare? So like, what do you feel about like the level of talent on this roster?
First of all, fuck Chris. I feel like, so look, I think you got, as far as like top end talent, you got 5 guys, in my opinion, right? You got 5-6 guys. I don't think the rest of the roster is like, if we going as far as like the depth of the roster, I can't co-sign what Chris said. And the other thing too for me is like, he said talent point, but then he ended his piece by saying, how does the talent work? I think the talent is disjointed. I don't think they got the pieces to, like, we playing Tetris, like certain shit just ain't slotting. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have
the right connectors.
Yeah, you don't have the right connectors. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a big part of that's a big point of like what is not working. Like if you look at the teams in the playoffs, if you look at the teams who made it in the postseason, right? The roster had some semblance throughout it. Like they had variation. Like sometimes you got so many guys, but they all might just do one thing, and none of the things that they do work well with the other. And for a team like the Pelicans, who it's like Chris said, 2 timelines, right? Like you got a team like the Pelicans who kind of veteranish, but kind of youngish. You know what I'm saying? Like, what side is that? You know, are you going to appease to? Now, we'll say this: you talking about talent, bro. For me, like I think I said this on draft night. For me, like year 2 Jeremiah Fair, year 2, year 3 Jeremiah Fairs, bro. He go feed families. He gonna take care of homes. He gonna make sure old people get their Social Security check. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna be who he's supposed to be. And I believe eventually DQ is gonna catch up there too. I got all the faith in the world in DQ. I got all the faith in the world in both of them. I just want to see it developed around them, so to speak, right? Like I want to see that talent develop around them. And look. People gonna say this, and maybe like a year or two ago, I say this too. You know, you see what Zion doing this offseason, right? Like you ain't never got Zion
this like
basketball back. You ain't got Zion playing basketball recording of it in an offseason in 7 years. You've never gotten that before.
Video with a shirt off,
bro. Like you know what I'm saying? he just out there putting their work in, and a lot of people gonna give him shit about that for trying to get better going into year 8, right? Mm-hmm. I can't put a gap on when you stop trying to develop. I will say if you're gonna critique it and you gonna say it's too late, I get that. But if he turned over a new leaf, if he's gonna do the things he's showing us in that video, right? Like you shooting jumpers, you working on your handle, you know what I'm saying, your in-between game. I think developmentally a lot of that, you know, the record wise is as far as Zion go take him.
Mike, what you think of the talent on the team overall? I know we had a lot of talks about like the back half of the roster, you know, and again, you can speak to the top half of the roster too, but you know, we talked about Carlo and his potential development, having to like the versatility of being able to use Sadiq Bey, Bryce McGowan, those kinds of players. But what do you think of the overall talent on the team?
I think for me, like, I agree that the team is talented. I think I disagree at the top end talent piece. And it was the same thing I had with like BI and Zion was together, right? Like the year they won 49 games, every time they went up against a team with 2 better number 1s and number 2s, it looked away. Like we ran into Phoenix and Phoenix ran us out the building like 5 times. D-Book averaged 50. We played against the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell and Garland at the time, whoever is there. Like I think my issue comes in with like if you think about the league right now, think about all the number 2s on like your top 15 teams in the league. Would you say Trey is better than any of the number 2s in the top 15 players in the league? Like top 15 teams. Like, you know what I mean?
That would be like if it's the Spurs, who would you consider they 2? Fox,
Castle, like
J-Dub.
You know what I mean? Like you start going on, is he better than Austin Reeves? Like,
maybe.
But based on what? Like what? Like if you go off of resumes and stuff like that, like I know neither of them made All-Star, but like what has he done to say he's better than Austin Reeves? What has he done to say he's better than like Franz in Orlando? What has he done to say he's better than, you know what I mean? Like a lot of those teams and stuff like that. I think he's probably like the lesser. He's done nothing to say he's better than Fox. You know what I mean? Like there's like respectfully, and I enjoy love watching Trey's game. Like, but he's done nothing to say he's better than any of those dudes. Like, dog, Fox was all NBA, just made another All-Star this past season. He had a bad playoffs. But like, let's not get it twisted with what Fox they got where they got because Fox was the, you know what I mean?
Like was in the playoffs and it was an all-star shooting and all of that.
Exactly. Like Dylan Harper looked great because Fox was the primary ball handler and stuff like that. But anyways, I think the talent is good. I just think that's where it's at. You got like 5 dudes on your team right now that could probably, not including Fears, that could probably give you like a stretch of like 20 plus games, 20-point games, right? Like Zion, Trey could do it, Sadiq could do it, DeJounte, and Poole. Like all them dudes for multiple games could give you like 20-something points a night. So I think you do have talent. I just think like the top end talent, your 1 and your number 2 shouldn't be your 1 and your number 2 compared to everyone else. And then I think on top of that, like you go into like the rotations wise, like, you know, it don't look right. We don't reach our ceiling because I just think all rotations and stuff are off. The 1 year we won 49 games, you had Herb as a true 3-and-D player. You know what I mean? Shooting like 40% from the 3 and still like elite defensively, but you also had the anchor in Jonas. You don't have the anchor with Jonas, so Herb got to defend even more than what he's doing. And you can tell like how he played. Like he definitely looked bad this year, and he badly played last year. But I just think like rotation wise, like Herb probably shouldn't start. OKC paid Alec Caruso the same amount of money, and Caruso comes off the bench. And he could come off the bench and just blitz the best team, you know, the team's best player and guard them like crazy because he's not starting playing 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So I just think that's where they have talent. I agree. I just think like that top end talent is where it's at. And Toledo's point, like, man, you always talk like I too believe like Fears by year like 3 or 4 is going to be like a top guard in the NBA. Period. Like he may not be number 1 or 2, but he's going to be like, hey, he is a top. And if you have an elite guard, your floor is automatically raised because you have such an elite guard.
Both all y'all made like a lot of really great points. One of the main things I was thinking when we talk about like the talent in general and why I'm personally opposed to moving like Trey, and then y'all can respond to this. But like I personally am opposed to moving Trey or Z because one, I don't really feel like you have to. If all of these people are looking to acquire Trey, that would show me that Trey's on a great contract. And I'm of the mindset that the way that we could go about doing it, again, I think Fears is gonna take a step to a point where like Fears becomes your 3rd best player. And if he takes a step, I don't think it would be, again, I don't want to say what Trey's not going to be, right? Or what Z's not going to be, because again, Chris, we have a lot of conversation. Trey could continue to get better. And then I think last year was a big season for him coming into the season as his first chance as a true number 2. I'll pass this to Chris and then Chaz, but like it was his first opportunity as a number 2. Last season was, I don't want to say Zion's first year as a 1, but like the first time somebody came out and was like, listen, this your team, you take us as far as you could go. You know what I mean? I think it was really just his first opportunity as the guy, and he realized he wasn't good enough. And you know what I mean? Trying to do it by, you know, whatever the coach is saying, like, okay, if there's less usage, whatever the situation is, I think that was their first opportunity to kind of get a chance at it. And I think they failed, which failure don't necessarily mean that like you can't learn from your failure, but you know what it is that you wasn't good at. So like Chris and then Chaz and then Chris, what do y'all think about like the idea of the internal growth and players like Fears being able to take, if I believe Fears going to take that step as well, right? And if Fears becomes as good as, let's say, I don't want to say DeJounte because DeJounte is ahead of him right now, but like if he surpasses DeJounte to a degree or gets close to the Trey level or something like that, does that make a difference? Same thing with Queen and so on and so forth.
I don't think DeJounte that far ahead of him, to be honest. One can argue he might not be at all. I'm just keeping it a dollar. But I say, for me, I don't like to necessarily count on internal growth necessarily, especially as it pertains to young guys, because if you have a sophomore slump or depending on what's emphasized by the head coach, you could find yourself in a tough spot. Like you could find yourself potentially in the doghouse if you're not defending or if you're not rebounding or just for any reason. My assessment of the team talent-wise and just moving forward, even with the young guys, is I have to take into account that I think Willie Green and Borrego were the two worst head coaches in the NBA last year, bar none, right? When I look at, again, like 21 blown four-quarter leads, and you're one of the only teams in that.
Hold on, Chaz. Just for you, I knew we was gonna have this conversation.
I appreciate
so
that, bro.
I made sure you was able to. Here we go. Boom.
Now, when you look at that, this, the part that stands out the most is that the Pelicans are the only non-tanking team in this. Right? The Pelicans are the only team that wasn't actively tanking. Now, they started Herb so many games, you would presume that they were tanking, but that wasn't the case. They were actively not tanking, right? So when I take that into account, also, I think Sadiq Bey was the number one offensive option last year. Like, there were so many instances where, like, I called too many live games last year, way too many. Like, just live watching the games, like calling their play-by-play, and they were like 2 and 4 minute stretches where Zion not getting the ball, Trey not getting the ball, there's no ball movement. Maybe Fear's not getting the ball. One of the worst offensive fast break teams in the NBA, like transition defense was terrible. There's so many things the way you be like, well, if y'all just don't do that, just don't do that anymore, you probably win about 5 or 6 more games. Like, you go to both of the Memphis games where you blew double-digit leads. Trey misses his rotation in the Spurs game in the home opener. You blew that game. Kawhi Leonard travels as a mid-range jumper. You lose that game. Like, there's so many instances where you just like, it's not a bad, like, you're not getting blown out every night. So it's like, if you was getting blown out, I would just say this team not close. Like,
they quit for like 2 weeks from like that Willie Green stretch, like after I think it was like game 3, they quit for like a cool 2 weeks. So you gotta account for those losses.
Right before the Celtics game, right after the Celtics game, there was a major issue until Borrego first came back into the game. But again, there's so many games you could point to, like when Derek Queen had a great game versus Dallas. Like in the fourth quarter, you just totally changed the style of play with Derek and Zion Derek operating at the top of the key. Him and Zion were doing that 2-man game, and it's 20-point leads you're just blowing. Like, you lost to the Kings at home. There's so many things where you're just like, there's a small correction here would have at least had you at 36 wins. Not saying that's good, but I'm just saying that's with a small correction, and you got to take into account that DeJounte didn't play all season. That's why even with some of the guys, I'm like, if Zion's usage goes from 13 to it's on like career, like close to 20, if I'm not mistaken. But let's just say it goes to 18. They go to 18. Trey, I say Trey is the same. DeJounte plays every game. Herb is not a disaster, and everybody just takes small steps forward. I think you're looking at a much better season. Now, I will take into account that everybody probably not going to be tanking next season, so you don't get the benefit of playing the Jazz 4 times. You don't get the benefit of stealing games here, stealing games there. Like, even versus Charlotte, you had 20 fucking point lead. You let the lead just dwindle in the fourth quarter. That happened so many times. It's like with Willie Green, it was like, all right, well, look, we down by 20. With Borrego, it's like, all right, we down by 15. But also, if we was up by 20 and they came back and beat us, is that just as bad as being down by 20? Like, it's all about perspective. I don't think this is a series winning team, but I do think that this for sure, they got enough talent to be a firm play-in team if everyone's healthy, I think.
I want to say real quick to your point. I know you called for Chris to do it, but
no, y'all
regarding
good.
Like everything like Chaz was saying in terms of like how close game was. I remember I posted a stat. I saw a stat. This is back in May. The Pelicans played in 41 clutch games. They were 21-14 when leading going into the fourth. And clutch games are games within 5 points with 5 minutes left in the game. So 21-14 going into the fourth. They only won 26 games, but they were in 41 of them.
Yeah.
Like the team they're competitive. Like Chad said, we ain't losing by 20 in the fourth. We losing by 6, or we up by 6 and can't close the game out.
So
Yo.
listen, go ahead, man. Y'all feel free to interject at any point also
my bad.
as well.
My bad. I was trying to hijack. I was gonna say
No, you good. Do your thing.
to Chaz's point too, like, and let's go even further back to the talent point, right? As dog, I just feel like you were going on a list of is Trey better than Austin, whatever. I feel like if we being honest, looking at this team, like nobody on this team can be the best player on any team. You know what I'm saying? And that I feel like if you start from that perspective and just go down the list, like you can be honest about your expectations for the team.
That's fair.
I think that's a great point as well, because that's why it had become a running joke at one point. But I'm like Chris and Lee, I'm sure I remember like, all right, so what's the goal? Right?
Right.
Because to me, for this my view of the team, like I don't view like Zion as a number one on a very good team. I view him as the best player on the Pelicans and maybe the best player on a firm playing team. But I also look to Lito point where it's like, even in free agency, and that's why, and I hate to do this because I had the brand and shit, and hey, he ended up getting traded again. I might have been right. But anyway, like, but even like with the Hurd thing, so it's like the redundancy kind of gets alarming to like, all right, let's say like just for this small exercise, and I'm interested in hearing all you guys' point. If you sign Gary Trent Jr. tomorrow, career 39% shooter, who does he play over? Right? Because you got, whose minutes is he taking? You got DeJounte, Fears, Zion, Bryce McGowan's, Herb Jones, Sadiq Bey, Micah Peavy. Let's say Micah Peavy, just throw him in there. And those are all like perimeter guys.
Jordan Poole.
So that's what, 8 perimeter guys. And when you're talking about the skill set that you really need, like 3-point shooting or rebounding, really you need both. But let's say 3-point shooting and or rebounding. Where does he really help you in that area? And that's what it kind of gets to, like, all right, we got to consolidate. It's too many guys, like Lito say, you're a one-side player. Like all you do is this or all you do is that. You're not necessarily competent on the other side, or you're not good enough on this side to justify your lack of efficacy on the other side. Like you're not good enough defensively or offensively to justify how bad you are on the other side. Like, and I think that's an issue as well when you talk about roster construction that I see as well, like what Lito said.
Chris, feel free to jump in right there if you don't mind.
Yeah, man. I mean, internal growth is a lot of it is about perspective and subjective, because, like, to me, I think the biggest hurdle you have when you're debating internal growth is with teams that have actually done something. So you make the playoffs and you say we running it back and we gonna focus on internal growth, and then you don't do shit the next year, then you Sacramento from a few years ago, you Atlanta from a few years ago, you the Pelicans from a few years ago. That seems to be the issue. So then you got teams like Orlando, they make the playoffs one year and they say, all right, we gotta go and sign KCP. We gotta go do this and do that. We gotta be aggressive and we gotta trade for Desmond Bane, but then they end up in the same situation that they was already in. Now, when you ain't did shit and you coming off of back-to-back years where, you won 25 to 30 games, sometimes the tweaks need to come internally. Sometimes getting out the building ain't always the go, or ain't always the right way to go when we talking about people that's on the floor, because you need to set a different set of eyes that are watching what you already have. You need people, you need a different estimate. And I think that's part of like the conversation that we're talking about, like bringing in. That's a big part of it. Even if you don't think this coaching staff is going to be the greatest, and you're not a big Jamal Mosley guy, I'm a human element person. Like I do believe having a different, not just one person, a group of different people all in, saying, "Oh, well, I've been watching y'all from afar. Why y'all don't try this?" Like we played y'all twice and this worked, and y'all stopped, and it ain't gonna happen over here. Why you think teams end up like they love to trade for or sign guys that kill him? You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm sick of this. Like the Bulls went and signed Norman Powell.
Right.
In my opinion, for no reason other than Norman Powell kicked their ass every time they play.
Gave him
You know,
buckets.
he said, right, that this shit ain't happening. I ain't finna watch that no more. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that it is perspective, because I think a combination of those, if you get enough of those things that bring in tonal growth, you could look up at a team that's battling for 40 wins or battling for, or just in a much different situation. Because and it's so many guys on the team, their tweaks are so little. Zion, it's a mindset, and it's a repetition element of it. It's a work ethic part of it, like a consistency part. Now that he's figured out, now that he has a physical program set up, now that he has that part, now it's a repetition of putting the work in and changing the way you view the game. You mentioned earlier, Alvin, about this was the first year that Zion was a number one. And Lito said that you don't have a number one on this team that will be a number one anywhere else. That might 100% be true. But like I said this earlier, like some guys are number one on paper and some guys are number one actually on the floor. Jalen Johnson had a great year, statistically, 100%. And the playoffs, who's the number one for Atlanta?
CJ.
CJ. So what it matter? You had a triple-double. You was a triple-double threat every night. When the playoffs came, they weren't looking for you.
In his hand.
You couldn't get your raps off. You had to it had to be CJ. So I mean, it's Jalen. Should I tell Jalen Johnson that he ain't number one? Nah, that ain't fair.
Point.
But it's all about subjective. If with Zion, the problem with Zion is that we only get a chance, like even in the years he's been healthy, we only get a chance to see number one. Like this is like I'm one of the best players in the world for 10, 20 games a year, even when he's healthy. You know what I'm saying? But at one point you get a chance to see it. I argue when they won 49 games, they didn't have a player that you would make a number one on almost any team in the league. You only saw it for spurts. It wasn't Brandon. It wasn't CJ. It wasn't Zion. They were sharing that. They were sharing that together. And then at the end of the year, when Brandon was out, Zion, for once again, that pocket was that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it always got to come down to like there's a lot of gray area with this shit, dog. Just like anything else. It ain't always got to be like, okay, we got to have a number one option. You got to have a number one option to win a championship. You got to have a number one option. You got to have a top quarterback to win a Super Bowl. You could make the playoffs with a mediocre quarterback and a really good defense and a good support system. Like you can be a solid team with a bunch of B+ talent guys.
Sam Darnold went from seeing ghosts to winning a bowl.
It's all it's environment. You know what I mean? If Jeremiah Fears, Jeremiah Fears shot 35% from three last year. If that shit go to 37, 38%, I don't know what that turned into. If you talking if Derek Queen if his jump shot improves, that makes a difference. And he's not abysmal on defense. And you can actually run him. You can run him out there, at the 5 for some stretches, which you will have to. There's so many different parts. If you really sit down, if you get away from I think the stubborn approach, and you really slowly start to break down shit. If you really wanted to, you can find certain parts about this team with the smallest tweaks that make them ultimately better. You know what I mean? I just think people don't /believe in the process, so it make them not even want to sit down. Like I can't even talk with some people about Carlo. They didn't want to have a conversation. They didn't want to have a conversation about Carlo. And the motherfucker was shot 41% from three. It was on a small volume.
Yeah.
But he's the best damn athlete damn near you got on the team. And you put him in the corner and he's making the 40% of his threes. Shit.
Increase his volume.
I can live with some of his flaws if I'm getting that. What am I putting around that shit? So, that's how I look at shit, bro.
If I can, go ahead, Mike. I'll go after you.
No, I was just about to say in terms of the talent aspect with Zion and everything like that. Like to y'all point, like it's a mentality thing, right? Like me and Alvin talk about this all the time. I text him like, bro, Zion got to the podium one day and was like, bro, if I miss 2 shots in a row, I get hesitant and don't want to shoot no more. Bro, you can't you can't be the guy doing that. Zion would be like 12 or 15 for like 22 points, and that's it. Like nothing else. Lito, I remember I tweeted you one day, and I was like, hey, look at Fear's stat line box score. It was at the end of the season. Fear shot like 29 shots, dog. And
30, and he getting them bitches up.
Fierce had 58 shots in 2 games. How long y'all think it would take? How long y'all think it would take Zion to get 58 shots?
Like 3, 4.
Exactly. It's a mentality, dog.
Probably
like,
more than that.
Exactly. Like, bro, you 12 or 15. Then the next night you 11 or 14. Then you 9 or 12. It's like, dog, you shooting over 60%, but you don't want to continue on doing it. And that's where I think when it comes to like those top players in the league, man, it's all like here. It's not the skill point. Like it's
Hold on, Mike. Hold on. Because I do want to add this about Zion, and this something else that we debate often. Lito would always say, why Zion? Why you always stuck at 16 shots? And my argument, Mike, is that it's because you get tired of running halfback dive when that's the only thing you got. That's for game after game, for 30, 40, 35 minutes. That shit ain't enough when the league has changed and caught up to the shit you do well. That like Zion has to update, like you know how your phone tell you every 2 weeks, yo, you got to update. Zion, like Zion, like 4 or 5 updates of like past due. That's the truth. But the thing is, bro, he's the only one of his kind and that's part of the burden. He does not shoot jump shots.
I agree.
He does not shoot jump shots, and he's not a post threat. And I keep asking people, where the hell are these 16, 17 shots coming from, and you don't shoot the ball? That's when he got to upgrade.
Because he had a spot, he had a play where it was one game, it was like, man, he got an outlet pass. He took 2 dribbles, past half court, got to the 3-point line, cash.
The DeJounte game when DeJounte came back. That was the
in
last
the podium
season.
at the post game. My teammates, man, they always telling me to shoot the 3. I just, I don't want to do it. Dog, respectfully, I'm a huge fan of Herb. Like, dog, I would take you shooting 3 more 3-pointers a game if that means Herb shoots less 3-pointers in the game, dog. Like, respectfully. Like,
my bad.
No, go ahead.
Yo, hot to Chris's point, right? Fuck it, we pod now.
Let's roll.
Yo, to Chris's point, right? So you bring up the Jalen Johnson CJ thing, right? All right, cool. I can live with a person who has been a perennial playoff performer in his career, a dude who's averaged 20 for 12 seasons or whatever it is, right? How you want me to believe in you when you don't believe in you? How my season go resting you when you ain't willing to go out there and take the shots? I do not give a fuck if you miss, bro. Shoot the shit. I don't care. When I look at Fears, you know what I see? Mike, to your point, right? What you said of how many shots he had?
Yeah,
I'm looking at
2 games.
Bro, that's a motherfucker without a conscience. He
was Jordan Hawkins before Willie.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, he looking around. He getting the game. He looking around. These niggas gonna feel me. They gonna fit it. You know what I'm saying? Like I want one that had that attitude. I don't give a fuck if you miss it. You are our best option on 100% of these things. So if you ain't gonna do it, bro, like Fear is gonna he gonna shoot it. He gonna do it because you ain't doing it.
To that point right there, Lito, I think, and this is my idea in like why that's important. Because Fears is the guy that you ain't got to tell to be great. Again, he did the road trip in Pie, and he was talking about the thing he working on is his leadership. He trying to get in there and close games. He has the mindset, if I put in the work, I don't see why I'm not going to be better than y'all. So if you don't want to do it, I got it. And if his game progresses and he takes a step, then I think, to be honest, that's the best way for this team to move forward. Because if you get Fears, and let's say you get Fears taking that step and like he's essentially trying to, like, kind of how Ant forced Cat into the number 2, right? Like you saw when Ant started coming along, Karl Anthony Towns had to take a step back. It was just like, fuck, this dude is the guy, right? Their team took a step because that was the best way. So if you get rid of Trey and you get rid of Z, it's kind of like you diminishing what you get from Fizz. But if Fizz take that step and then you start seeing the transition where like, oh shit, well, Z at times can be, or most times probably is the best player until Fizz is ready year 3, year 4, whatever. And that's not even to say Fizz is going to be that good. But if he takes like the maxi step, or if Trey continues to develop, and then you have another player that can play on that level with them, then I think you're looking at a team with Mosley with better coaching, with Zion kind of getting his shit together. You got Sham God who just seeing a bunch of great players putting the batteries in their back as well. I think you'll have a better opportunity to kind of like push the team forward. And I think that's kind of what Joe is dependent on. And all of this time, we really hadn't mentioned Queen as well. You know, maybe you see some, I don't know how Chaz feel about Queen, but maybe you see. I can't.
I'm just listening to you. I want to speak to the other point. Go ahead.
No, ultimately, I'll just say this. Ultimately, I'll say my thought is that you have a guy like Fizz who's not gonna ask permission. How we talked about it, like I know the thing used to be here. You ain't got to give the Drew Holiday. We'll give Drew Holiday permission no, Fizz ain't that type of guy. And if that's the case, and you got Z who's on that, I'm trying to be, you know, the first time they believed in me, I don't want to let y'all down. You know what I mean? Because that's what he said. Like, that's his words. He didn't want to let Joe down. And you get Trey, who kind of might be pissed off, just naturally works and gets better. I think that's a better recipe for success. Go ahead, Chaz.
No, I'll say this, right? A couple of quick points. Now, I'm not talking about fears in this situation. I'm not talking about fears. But one of the biggest problems I had last season in particular was it's just too much freedom. Like, it was way too much freedom. It was way too much, like, I don't want to specify which players had too much freedom, but it was way too much freedom. It's like, yo, pass the ball to Will, bro. And that kind of leads to this point. Like, again, when I talk about like periods of time, even when Chris spoke to the human element, I think one of the most important parts of leadership, specifically coming from like the head coach, and I saw Chris was like, what the fuck, from the head coaching spot, or just leadership in general, is that you have to know what every person needs, right? Some people are self-starters. Some people you have to kind of guide them to success, like Joe Jackson. Like you gotta be. It has to be a dictatorship to some degree, and I think with Zion in particular, he's a guy. My bad, Chad. My bad. You good? I think with Zion in particular, he's the kind of guy that needs the head coach to earn his money. Like, you know what I'm saying? If he's not like a self-motivator or a self-starter, like the head coach has to do the job. Like, you got to figure out a way to get easy looks. Like, one thing I'll say for the Pelicans, if you could get, like, maybe you could get your the shot attempts for Trey Murphy and Zion up. If you can generate a couple easy looks, maybe you can generate some fast break opportunities, a number of things, which is really difficult for the Pelicans to do. The Pelicans won't even pass the ball on like a fucking 4-on-1 fast break. It was just ridiculous, right? It was just a ridiculous number of things that went on. Borrego last season, couple games stand out to me in particular, one being Golden State on the road. It's like, bro, can you get the guy's been at the scoring table for about 5 minutes in real time? Can you get him sub in the game, coach? There's been a couple dead ball opportunities. Can you get him in the game, coach? You just forfeited your third timeout. You could have used that timeout to get him in the game, coach. It's a number of things like that happens. But I also say, when it comes to certain players, when you got guys who not like, or quote unquote selfless or not self-starters on the team, as a head coach, you have to be bold enough, and I hope Mosley is bold enough to say, I don't give to certain guys who not the quote unquote best player. I don't give a fuck if you think you're great or what you worked on this offseason. You're not. Give the ball as long as you hear. This is David Ruffin and the Temptations. So you're gonna have to give the ball to David Ruffin and just be ready to benefit from whatever opportunities David Ruffin creates. And I think that's where the Pelicans have consistently failed. Because Zion's a guy comfortable just letting the world come to him. It's not necessarily a go-getter. You see, like Chris said, you see it every once in a while, but you like, oh fuck. Like this dude a fucking animal. He played Anthony Edwards, he gonna be an animal. He played Wemby, he gonna be an animal. Like, you know what I'm saying? He played Phoenix, he gonna be an animal. But in some games, when it's week 4 and it's either like whatever, like, you know, it ain't there. That's when I think the head coach has to really step up and provide the best player to what they need. Cars don't run on like the same gas you put in a bullshit car, the same gas you got to put in a nice car. You know what I'm saying? Just a little more high quality. You gotta motivate some of these guys if they're not self-starters. And that's always been my issue with how Zion's been coached.
Let me take a quick second, man. Appreciate everybody. Y'all hit that like button. I'm going to go to a little commercial break on how I feel Mosley needs to support this team and how Mosley is going to be when they get to training camp and kind of how they've been right now. Y'all hit that like button while this rolls.
We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. And then you will run a mile. Perfection. Let's go to work.
Appreciate y'all, man. I just kind of want to throw this out there and then we'll transition. Like, I think, first, I appreciate all y'all for joining the show, man. Everybody in the chat, make sure y'all hit that like button. One of the things I think that's been missed is we talk about the team, and because the last couple seasons haven't been ideal seasons, I think we're losing the nuance of why the team hasn't been good as well, right? Let me run this to y'all real quick, and then we'll kind of move forward. And I kind of want to hear y'all replies on this. So, like, go back to when they won the 21 games, right? You coming off the 49 win season. You trade for DeJounte Murray. You go into the season. Willie Green won't announce the start lineup. You don't get a 5. Thankfully, Trey Murphy wasn't healthy at the time, right? So you start the season with Trey. I think he was out. Injured for a while, so you didn't have to address it initially. And then DeJounte breaks his fucking hand the first game, and then right after that, I think you started off 2-0 that season also. But DeJounte breaks his fucking hand, then CJ gets hurt, then Herb gets hurt, and then also Zion goes down. And then what we do know now, if you go back and look at that season, remember Zion was in the interviews talking about, I'm following the team's plan. I want to play, but I'm following. If the team say they want me to wait, I'll wait. Shout out to Chaz with his amazing interview with Chris. Y'all make sure y'all keep a lookout on him. We've already identified that they were this time around when he got hurt. They told him it was gonna take 2 months. Dude was back in 2 weeks. So backtrack to all of the previous injuries and the medical staff and stuff like that. Your season was derailed early, but you dealt with an amazing number of injuries that particular year. Also, when Z got back and they did kind of come back, they had the draft pick and they started tanking, right? Like they shut everybody down and started tanking. So while we look at it as a 21-win season, it was really you injured. Let's try. Remember, that's the Cooper Flag draft, right? So you absolutely trying to do the best you can. I think we finished the season as what, like the number 4 odds to get the number 1 pick or something like that. The pick fell to 7, whatever. But while we look at it as a 21-win season, it's not like they tried to win all season and you dealt with an amazing number of injuries. Real quick, let me finish this and I'll pass to y'all. Then last season, right? Last season, DeJounte's gone most of the season, but Willie gets fired, 2 months into the season? Borrego is a shit show. They bench Poole while he deserved to be benched or not deserved to be benched. You just had a bunch of things kind of happening where you end up with, we not playing no center. Eves was coming off a solid year, his rookie year, where you thought, and Eves even played better last year as well. Like Eves showed some growth, right? Showed like a lot of improvement from year 1 to year 2, but couldn't get consistent play, couldn't get consistent minutes. Again, you got to think a lot of the stretches we were closing with no big on the floor at all. Right. So if you're one of the things that you lack is rebounding, but we got Herb at the 5, Zion at the 4, Sadiq at the 3. How the fuck you gonna rebound and try and contend and win games anyway? And that was the game plan moving forward, right? So I just think when we look at, again, this team won 26 games and like they won 26 games, but realistically between the blown leads, between not not getting people in on time, how long they started the rookies, how long it took Willie wasn't even trying to play Queen at first. Like, you got to remember, Willie didn't even want to play him like in the beginning parts of the season. So like, it was just a bunch of things that kind of took place to where there was no consistency and anything like that. So while they've only won, let me ask this, and this is the question, I guess. They've won 47 games in 2 years. And Mike, Lito, y'all can respond to this, and then we'll kind of go from there. But they've won 47 in the 2 games, and that's the results. That's what it is. But is it results, and that's what the kind of team they are, or is there more to this particular team, and we just don't know because the situation has been, it's not necessarily what it is. It's more nuanced than what it is you see.
I'll say, like, to just go back to what you were saying, like, you got to have some type of continuity to be able to be successful. So to your point, the year we won 21 games after the 49 win season, you would think Griff, sad ass, would like want to improve the roster based on that. So the very next season, Jonas left, Najee left, Dyson left. That man gaslit us into thinking Daniel Tice could start as our starting center in the year 2024. We had Javonte Green like brought in, but you lost like all your main. You lost all your main. Yeah. Also, you didn't mention this part. Like, dog, the preseason, Zion and B.I. didn't play a single game together.
They did not.
Like the whole preseason, 5 games, they didn't play a single game. And then the very first night, Zion didn't play.
Yep. Showed us. You're right. B.I. only played 18 games that year, by the way.
Exactly. So I think, like, again, Herb been bad the last 2 seasons, but I think one of the most important things between Herb and Trey and Z, for that matter, like, dog, y'all need a summer of not doing rehab and just the summer of doing what Zion doing right now. Like, you can't just be rehabbing for the entire summer and then just the last 2 seasons, Trey has came back in the middle of the year and trying to hoop. Like, this past season, like, he started the year, but, like, you know what I mean? He was still rehabbing off his shoulder. He just so happened to be, you know what I mean? So I think, like, you finally got to, like, you see DeJounte posting all his stuff on, like, Instagram. Like, he constantly working out in the gym and getting pictures. Trey, you see his stuff. You see Fear stuff. You see Z. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see everybody else. Like, you don't see, like, Herb, Sadiq, and stuff like that. But you assume Sadiq is hooping. Like, you saw him last year hooping in, like, Mexico or some random stuff like that. But I just think being able to go into the year, hopefully stay healthy, because we still got 3 more months before the season starts. But just being able to be healthy and have that continuity and play with each other during the summer and stuff like that, like,
hey,
gonna help. That was crazy. Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, they could hoop with each other, and you know what I mean. So I think you need that going into the season rather than everybody like, oh, I gotta go rehab my hamstring for the next month or something like that. So,
boy, Mike talk about putting the boys putting together a whole different kind of work in the summer, boy. Say, work on your game, bro. Let
me ask you this question real quick, because I mean, again, first off, shout out to y'all, man. I know you real big with I don't know if this all sound crazy or not, but like it was. I think I like fixed it, but you like got I'm pretty sure you got like a pretty close relationship with Pierre, number 58. You heard me? How do you feel? I watched y'all show when y'all talked about 58. Shout out to y'all. Y'all did a great job breaking that one down and kind of giving the backstory and whatnot. I think he gonna crack the roster for sure. Like, I don't think there's no doubt in my mind that he cracks the rotation. Yeah. Do y'all do y'all
roster?
Go ahead. I did. Maybe you know.
It's a bad man.
Listen, he back home. You know what's going down. You back home. You heard me? Everything, all them old things is time. You heard me? I got to double back on them. But, do you feel like his athleticism, his potential, the defensive intensity, if he locks in, apparently shout out to Sham guys talking about the connection with them working out at SMU. How do you feel he might have an impact moving forward too?
First of all, coming off your comment and then what Rob said in the chat, that's
what?
That's crazy.
What do you say?
My
What do
bad.
you say? What do you say, Lito?
I can't repeat it. Rob, my dog too.
Yo, who spells a D name like that, man? What
I
the
said that earlier. Say you can't abbreviate.
call that man Deke, bro?
Say, bro.
Y'all wildin', dog.
Say, bro. The Quake. What you asked me? I'm sorry, dog.
Man, just what's your thoughts on PF? How about that?
I mean, shit, man. I think he is who he has portrayed himself to be, man. He a hooper. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, you talked about him getting minutes on a team. You know what I'm saying? Finding a way to get into the rotation. Like, I'll say, man, I'm looking up and down the roster, bro, and I'm kind of like, you telling me he can't beat out Jordan Hawkins? Like, you telling me Trey Alexander go take some minutes from him? Like, I do believe it might not all happen this season, but I would say, towards the future, I think he's surely gonna have, a spot on the roster. I think he gonna have a time in summer league though. I think he's gonna be a summer league favorite. I mean, the motherfucker athletic. He not no little guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's somebody like you got to deal with. You gotta really be physical as far as like your presence when playing him, and he can shoot the basketball. That's one of the things that like is crazy. Like watching his development as a basketball player. When me and Chris did the show, like I was telling Chris, like I remember, the thing was, all right, well he athletic, but he can't shoot. And then to come full circle and work your game in a way where you shooting high 30s in college. You know what I'm saying?
This comment. That one right there. Yeah, that's my bad.
No, you good. You good. Oh, I think the sky the limit for him, bro. He can handle basketball. You know what I'm saying? I think you're looking at a combo guard. If he lock in defensively, I think he for sure gonna get minutes. Now that's the thing, right? You know what Mosley wants. You know who your coach is. That's the thing that you got to see from him. You got to lock in defensively, and I think he can because again he has all the physical tools to do so, and he a hard worker. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, that's the ethic that we need.
I feel that, Chaz. Let me ask you this, Chaz, real quick, and then Chris will roll. Well, I'll let you roll, and then Lito, if you got a dip too here, I mean, it's all cool, bro. I appreciate y'all for joining the show. For sure, appreciate that. Chaz, when we looking at like the potential moving forward, like you still have, again, and this is kind of to bring it back because we kind of talked about the roster, we talked about the development and whatnot. What's a guy that you would bring onto this team right now that's like out there in free agency that you think is again, we talked about possibly waving and stretching. That is still crazy to me. That wave and stretch is wild. But like waving and stretching Hawkins and then add somebody to this team. With all of the people that's left, right? All of the free agents available now. Who's the one guy, or even if it's not free agency, I know we talked about Strus, but like what's another guy that you want on that particular on this team and think will like make a difference moving forward?
I think Domantas Sabonis will make a major difference as far as just defensive rebounding purposes. Like for me, my outlook on Derek Queen's development is a little different from some. So I kind of think Sabonis is an ideal stopgap guy, and Sabonis can actually play the five. You can play him with the five, as you've seen with Renard this past season. And more than anything else, defensive rebounding. I don't think there's a path to this team necessarily being like an elite defense, but if you could be middle of the road and elite offensively, I think you'll win more games than not. Like again, him being a guy that can get boards, can help get you out in transition for his like passing the ball up ahead, and a monster offensively himself, triple double machine type guy. Of course, like one-on-one defensively, he's not really gonna do it for you. But there aren't going to really be a ton of options out there or around the league that are readily available. And I think that's another thing when people talk about team building. It's like, are they available, and are they available to the Pelicans, and are they available for what the Pelicans have? Right. So because it's a bunch of different, things you got to get through before you actually get to like, all right, they could come to the Pelicans team. Because again, like you talk about Jared Allen, it's like, they don't need DeJounte, like they don't need Jordan Poole necessarily. Or you talk about there's some of the other guys, like to me, the Pelicans, until they become a good team, are in the distressed asset acquisition business. Even Julius Randle going to the Nets haven't been able to sign free agents in years, and the Nets know that. That's why they'll take on a guy like Julius Randle. They just like, all right, fuck it, we just about to, we about to try to go with this and see what happens. But I do think Sabonis would be a nice transition piece if you could find a way to land Gary Trent and Andre Drummond. I think that checks pretty much every box as far as need. But again, you gotta start trimming the fat on the roster because you can't play everybody and you can't pay everybody. And a couple people is like Lito just said, like, can you make a real, let's say hypothetically speaking, you kept Hawkins. Can you make a real argument to why Hawkins should play over PL? You probably can't. Or like, to me, today, it would be hard for me to make a real argument why I would keep Herb over PB, because I'm like, even if I thought Herb was better, I'm like, is he $18 million better than Michael P? And that's when it's like, all right, well, no, so that's when it becomes like, an issue for us, you trimming the fat money wise and roster wise. So maybe you can do more things and go find some shooting, go find some defensive rebounding. If I can only pick one, it would be Domantas Sabonis.
Hey, I could add on to that Chaz point. Man, so Chaz, man, we've been partnering a long time, and I swear to God, this is a bonus conversation we've been talking about for the longest. Like, we was talking about this before. I feel like before he got traded to before he got traded to Sacramento. Like, we was talking about this like on the way, on his way out the door in Indy. You know what I'm saying? He's always been a guy I felt like was. He'd be a good fit for the Pelicans for his skill set, but people always talk about what he didn't do on the defensive end, and it's like, bro, like you got six, one way, half a dozen, like you can't have it all. Like you got like what you want, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to do something. And then my bad. No, I was gonna say, and then the other point of that to Chaz's point, like, bro. For real, like you talked about trimming the fat on the roster, but like people always are like, trade this and that, trade for the picks, do this, do that. Bro, you can't draft everybody either. Like, no,
that's another thing. Like, and me and El talked about this quite a bit this offseason. It's like even with some of the things you talk about with OKC or with other teams, it's like I was talking to Cullen today, and someone had proposed a trade like Kristaps Porzingis, Moses Moody, somebody else, and some picks, and I'm like, all right, well the Pelicans got one roster spot. So what they're going to do with these other two motherfuckers, one of which has a torn ACL? They're not going to waive them. So we're like, how are they going to make this happen? It's like, realistically, some things not even like possible. So even like you just mentioned about Sabonis, it's like people talk about Miles Turner. I'm like, Miles Turner is thought of to be like this rim defender. And it's like, he's really not. But let's just say you do believe that he's a rim defender. What good is him blocking shots and the opposing team getting their own offensive rebound and scoring? Motherfucker average like 5 rebounds. I'd rather a guy that doesn't really block shots, but that can go get 20 rebounds. Because Josh Hart is not a great defender. Like, Josh Hart just goes get rebounds. Like, that's mainly his thing. And it helps tremendously. Because if you can end possessions with a defensive rebound, whether you block the shot or not, if you can end it with a defensive rebound, that's going to boost your defensive ranking. Blocks are kind of they're fun stuff. Like, what I'm saying? It's fun. But that shit don't mean nothing. Like, nah.
Chris, before you roll, I got a conversation I kind of want, like, kind of alluded to it earlier to a degree. We was talking about development, and I know Mike kind of wanted to have this conversation too. What is your we talked about Carlo, right? The Carlo development and whatnot, right? My thought about Carlo is, right, if you Carlo has proven to be athletic. He could defend, protect the rim at times, like, like a timely shot blocker or whatnot. I need Carlo to get the volume of threes of it. Like, I'm trying to have Carlo shoot 5-6 of them bitches a game. If we could get Carlo to shoot 5-6 threes a game off the bench, right? And he's shooting them at 35, 38% or whatever the case may be, that changes a lot for your team. So, like, Chris, to your what's your thoughts on Carlo, the development, all of that, and then Mike, I'll allow you to respond. For sure.
So the thing with Carlo, like, it reminds me of ironically, of a question that I think Fears asked Steph Castle during the finals, and Fears basically asked him, like, what was the most important part, like for you coming in from like year 1 to year 2, and Castle was basically saying, like, perfecting the stuff that I already do well, knowing what it is I do well, so I can add, But I think for a lot of guys, they don't know what they do well. They don't know what's going to translate for them. I think Carlo's one of them dudes, to where now I think he understands his role, not just with the Pelicans, but in the league. Or it's like, oh, if I do this, they'll forgive my flaws. Now I gotta run the floor, be able to shoot the basketball, and boom. Hopefully I'll be able to add some of the, like, people that want him to be this, like, to be the, this rim protector, or this dude that grabs a bunch of rebounds and this great defender. That may not ever be who he is. But the fact that I think he knows, he has an idea now. We've seen it for, he's going into his 3rd year in the NBA of, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spot up, shoot the basketball. I'm gonna be an athlete. I'm gonna attack the offensive glass, looking for putbacks, and I'm gonna run the floor. That's who I am right now. To be able to do more, I gotta be able to rebound. I gotta be able to not be in foul trouble. I have to be able to not be a cone defensively, or somebody that teams are playing off the floor. So I think a lot of it, Mike, and it's similar with Eve, like, it's the processing of it all. It's like, this is who I am, and now being able to process that shit, like, game in, game out, to where consistency. The thing with Eves and Carlo is that one game, Eves has a really good game, Carlo don't play well. Next game, Carlo got a good game, Eves don't do shit. And it's like, can y'all find a way to put some consistency on the floor together? Or y'all go through stretches where, okay, if one ain't got it, the other one has consistently, if we talking about Eves, man, coming out, let's say he off the bench, he's starting, whatever it is, and you can count on him, getting you 8 to 10 rebounds a night, which he should be able to do. And see, this is a problem. Chaz mentioned Andre Drummond, and I'm looking at players, right? I'm looking at, I'm looking at like, maybe like Maxi Kleber would be someone that they should be able to bring in, because they need a big that can shoot the ball. Well, they just committed. They committed to Carlo. That should be his role. He should be able to do that. So I'm looking at I'm looking at Andre Drummond. To Chaz's point, well, if I bring in Andre Drummond, how the hell Andre Drummond and Yves Missi both gonna play? They not, because Yves need to be able to do that. So bro. I mean, I think, not just for Carlo, but for Yves, bro, it's that consistency and being able to really, like, sticking to what I know is going to get me paid and what has people interested in me, and now perfecting that shit so I can get to the other things. I think Yves knows now, okay, I got to be able to rebound the ball. I need to be able to be a threat around the basket. I got to be able to run the floor, and I got to stay out of foul trouble. I think he's figuring that shit out now. Now he got to be able to put that shit together for, if he played 70 games, he got to have 40 to 50 of them bitches, to where that's what he is. And it's the same with Carlo. I don't think it's any large tweaks. I think when you a role player, like Michael Peavy, for example, what he got to do?
Same thing. Well, we'll just work on the corner 3, but do what you're doing. Just work on the corner 3.
Chaz, years ago when we was talking about Najee, What we say?
Just work on your corner three. It's gonna get you paid, brother.
He average, and he got paid. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you a role player, like bro, it's like the tweaks that
He
you
was-
gotta make are so fucking minimal, bro.
Najee was wetting that corner 3 too before he went on to Dallas. That bitch was cash.
Yeah.
I think one of the things for Eves is for me, like like y'all just said, bro, like you don't gotta do too much. Like you see him came back last year, he was like doing a lot of postings and he was doing a lot of pivots, and you don't gotta do that. Like you're not gonna get your family is not gonna get generational wealth from you doing that. You're gonna run the floor, you're gonna rebound, you're gonna block shots. That's how you're gonna get paid. You know what I'm saying? And I think Chris talked about Jeremiah Fizz, know who he is. I think Carlo just gotta Carlo too. Like, bro, you stand out there, you shoot a voluminous number of threes, you block shots, you run the floor, fam, you're gonna make yourself indispensable around here.
Absolutely.
That's facts. Like with Carlo, like obviously I put that on Twitter, like with his like on from data ball, like his plus minus. He's literally like a plus player with all the lineups, and like it's a small sample size. I remember this past preseason, which was like a sign for everything. Every preseason game, we got ran off the court in the preseason too, except for the Australian teams that we barely beat. But anyways, like, I don't know if y'all remember, we was down by 20 to the Rockets, and Carlo in the second quarter with the starters like hit like 2 big threes, like defended well. Bro, I don't need you to play. You're not gonna be most bigs anyway are not 28 to 30 minute guys anyway. Like I was looking at Mo Wagner's stats with Orlando last year, like in a year before. He only played like 17, 18 minutes a game. Like, and he won the first order. He wasn't a starting center, and I don't even think he was their second center. I don't know if Goga was before him or was it Mo. But anyways, like you still like, all right, Carlo, you about to consistently get 15 to 18 minutes a game. Can you win those minutes? Like, can you defend? Can you get 5-6 rebounds? Can you? Because you're an athlete. You wanted to probably the Zion, you, Pierre, now Trey. Like, y'all are probably our top athletes on the team. Eves, you know what I mean? But like, we had Kelly Olynyk for like 10 games. I haven't was when we traded for him.
Z was hooping with Kelly out there too.
Jonas, when we like. He ain't no floor spacer, but Jonas would shoot the occasional three. If you left Jonas open at the top of the key, it's been 8 years and we still never got Z any type of center that could, when you set the screen, you're going to pick and pop instead of picking and roll and clogging the lane. And like, I get it, like KP, Khalil Ware, Chet, like these centers are unicorns. They don't grow on trees. You're not going to find them a lot. But like, if you do have a center that can occasionally step out to the 3-point line and hit a shot. And you saw at some point Zion and Carlo had a little chemistry. The year we won 21 games, I remember Zion threw like a lob to Carlo
out that corner.
And like he just gave like a look. He just like a head nod, and Carlo went up and got it. And it's just like you like play him. Like, especially last year, what we had to lose.
Like I agree with Mike. I'll say also, I don't even think the Pelicans necessarily need a stretch center. Well, I'll say Zion doesn't need it, but I think it would benefit them because, like, even when people talk about floor space and like just general, when we have the conversation about floor space, I'm like, you really just need somebody to take advantage of the opportunities that Fierce or Zion can create by having these elite first steps and drawing these doubles and triples or whatever Fierce and Zion create, right? So my thing, like last season, there were games where Eve might get 8 minutes, Carlo might get 8 minutes, even if they're not playing bad. It's just like it's like, why? What are we doing? Like, why don't you just give them an opportunity to fail and then we can pivot? And I think a lot of times, like these guys, they both young players. They don't have a ton of experience in the league. My issue with Willie and Borrego especially was like, bro, at some point you got to do your job. Like you can't ostracize Derek or Carlo or Eve because you don't want to teach them certain things. And like for Carlo averaged about 1 3 a game. You need 3-point shooting. You would think the instruction would be, yo, Carlo, every time you catch the ball, just let it fly, brother. Miss and make. You know what I'm saying? Let it fly. We gonna get you there. We gonna work towards it. Eve. You're great on the offensive boards. Let's keep up that motor and that intensity on the defensive board. You got to box out. I'm gonna give you some consistent minutes. You know, and I think with Mosley having something like a ton of experience too with big guys, Golga, Jonathan Isaac, Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Wagner. You know, he's a proponent of large players as well. So, and even if you think like, what's his name? Like you look about Paolo and Franz, they like power forward. So like he's a proponent for like front court players. So I do think he'll look to maximize some of those guys. And I mean, to me, it's so many things just around the edge that you can improve on. A lot of money you just left on the table that like, even if you don't necessarily add talent, which you should, but if you don't necessarily add talent, I'm like, if you would just fix this, if y'all just don't do this, and I think you're good for at least a couple more wins.
To first off, to that point, Lito, I love to hear you respond to this one too, but I think that's again, we all know like Jamal Mosley's track record has been about development. Sham guy has been talking about development, right? Like Mosley went back, you know, him and Sham guy both go back to like you saw what Brunson was like those years in Dallas as he was continuing to develop. If I'm not mistaken, Mosley was on the Carlisle staff while they were going through a lot of that early development with him. Then when they move off again, Luka's development, like they had, you know, a big part in developing Luka. Then you go to Orlando and you got a young team. Franz was a young player, Paolo was a young player, Suggs was a young player. And I would like to think that this team, as far as like the players, I think Fears, and I hope I'm saying this respectfully, I think Fears is a more talented player than like a Suggs. You know what I mean? I think Zion is obviously unique in his own fucking way. Like you don't really create players like that. If you can establish Derek Queen specifically, and like a lot of the other players too, if you could like establish the development, give these dudes roles that they can fit in, right? I think you'll see the team one be more disciplined, which I'm always bitching about these dudes just not disciplined at all, right? Like I think you'll finally see like the identity starts to, again, you know, first thing he said is, look, we're gonna do it defensively. And yes, they're gonna do it defensively, but I think it's gonna look different than what it's looked like in the past. I think it's gonna be more schematic. I think you could teach them. He talked about teaching these motherfucking tricks of the trade and how to cheat, and like you need to know all of those kinds of things as you develop. Go ahead, Lito. What you think about that? Like,
that's a great point. That's a great point, Alvin. Because one of the things when we got Willie Green, like, you know, we were promised a guy who was a player's first coach, and he was on the development staff for a championship team, and you saw what he did on the Suns, right? And it was just baffling to me that he just, I don't know if he just took a step back from that and decided if he had development guys, he was gonna, you know, be hands off with that. First of all, shout out to my dog, Be Great, man. Shout out my dog, Be Great, man. Let my dog do his thing. But you know, if he was just hands off with his approach in that, but dog, I got so many stories of like he didn't want to work with this guy. He didn't want to, and it's like what you mean? Like what you mean you don't want to do this? I think Willie was just, for one, I think he was very arrogant in his approach to things. He would knock his head against the wall, see it not work, and decide I'm gonna do it 2 more times. And it's like, bro, you see this shit not working. It's not working. Whatever it is you implemented, like, dog, me and Chaz had so many pods where, right, JV will have an awesome first half. Awesome. Incredible. Motherfucker, what you doing in the third quarter? You stole everything.
Benched. The rest of the game, dog, dominant. Just cause that shit used to make me mad, bro. That turned your 49. Like you probably could have got the 53 to 55 wins just playing JV some second halves, bro. Shit was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous, man. But that's what ego do. You know what I'm saying? It was ego. It's what ego do. I will say this, like, to me, the head coaching search, like, I really like. It was it was whatever for me. You know what I'm saying? Like out of what was available, I think a couple of them will turn into good coaches. I think Michael Nori will be a good coach, and I think homie who went to the Nets, I think he'll be a good coach. Now, as far as the ego, I think for what Mosley just went through, I think he experienced some sort of ego death.
Okay.
If he did have an ego, I think that what he just went through brought him into a surreal. Like you don't get it. Normally, if you get fired from a job, you really don't get a chance to just run it right back.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this sometimes is a year process, years in a process, or it may never happen again. Like
especially when you got that money on the books like he had.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got dudes out there who have never gotten another shot, another opportunity at it. And I think
Jackson.
Mark, shit, bro,
he got
like
some other issues.
Just saying.
I think that before I critique, and this is my thing, like I'm not critiquing Mosley until he get games under his belt as a Pelican. I can't. I gotta give him a fair shake, right? That's crazy. I gotta give him a fair opportunity to do what he gonna do. I will say this, right? You saw him on the field with DQ doing slide drills. I've never seen Willie Green, bro, in this heat. I ain't never in my life seen Willie Green do that, bro. Willie Green I ain't seen him put in no time. Like if you want a motherfucker to develop, if you want him to grow and be great, you gotta water him, bro. You gotta water him, and that's how development occurs.
I think, also I think it was just shit, even based on recent conversations I had, I just think there was a genuine lack of trust with the coaching staff from the players. And I think, and shit, of course, the medical staff as well. I think even after Willie got fired, some guys were kind of sold it would be one thing, and then it was something else. And I think that just led to even more distrust. Again, you talk about Willie Green saying Jordan Poole was benched after allegedly cursing Willie Green out. He benched like the fourth game. Then he's going he got DNP, and now he's staring Willie Green down every time he hits a three. And it was just a number of weird things happen with Eve Meesey being unhappy, Zion being unhappy, Trey being unhappy. Like a ton of things happened to where it just like what the fuck? Like guys real active on Twitter, real active on the TikToks and Instagram as far as like
motherfuckers getting benched for liking pictures, you hear me?
There's all kinds of shit, like even the rookies, like, you know what I'm saying?
You're liking stuff on TikTok saying he carrying the team.
Yeah, and it's just like, yo, this is a shit show. Yeah. And you really like it kind of got to the point where it's like, yo, nah, you need some strong coaching leadership in this building across the staff, some people that can reel some of the young guys in, you know what I'm saying, and get some ambition back into the building. And I think hopefully Mosley, coming from a winning program, he's able to do that and instill that. And hopefully we see more of that as things go forward.
Say one more. My bad, Mike.
No,
I can just say one thing. So look, and one more point about that. My bad. So one more thing.
You good? Do your thing, bro.
so man, like we talked about, and I'm gonna make this point full circle. We talk about, they potentially interested in trading Trey, or just fielding office as a good front office should. You should always be listening. Like you know what I'm saying. Like you should always be listening. Your phone should always be on. But I want people to like realize this point too. You, as far as like Trey, right? When Trey's deal is up, or maybe a year into the deal, or if there's not a whole lot of time left on the contract, you might not be able to retain Trey. And I'm saying that because from the time that he arrived, it was dissension. He had, Willie Green had an automatic. He just didn't like Trey. He
had a vendetta against Trey.
He had a vendetta against Trey. Right, you saw that early on. He would play Tony Snell over. The man went to the All-Star game. He was in the slam dunk contest. What you do the next week? He come back. You start Josh Richardson over. He had been starting for the past 2 weeks. Like you like, and I think, I don't know if those relationships have ever been rebuilt. You know what I'm saying? As far as like Trey, like you see what Trey at.
Great point.
I'm just saying, like sometimes you gotta understand the writing on the wall before it get written. Like you gotta forecast these things. So I think when people hear trade trade, they're like, well, like, nah, that's how bro, you don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like you really don't know that. He might be on he might be Trey's a very cerebral guy, bro. And the things that I've heard about the people in the front office is like they might not even now, they might not be so fond of his play style. You hear the type of players that they say they want. They want aggression, they want and I don't think they deem him that.
That's a great point. Mike, what you think of that?
Oh, and I agree. You know what I mean? Like I think that like one thing I hated that they kept doing when Dumars got here is bringing up that bad boy shit. Like you the bad boy. In every interview, they kept asking the bad boy mentality. And it's like, oh, the league is nowhere near that anymore. But that's still the type of players he's looking for. You know what I mean? Like he wants those type of like it's cliche. You always hear like the zero fears bullshit with like fears, but it's like that's like fear's a knucklehead, bro. Like Derek Queen's an asshole. Like Derek Queen's like Fears got into it like every other game. Like that's the type of you know what I mean. If you talking about bad boys mentality stuff, then like Fears is like Isaiah Thomas all over again in a sense, like sharp guard with an attitude from Chicago. Like he's that. You know what I mean? But, yeah, bro. Like I think like since we all just bashing Willie, I just want to continue on with that real quick. Like, bro, game 6, maybe it was game 6 or whenever the case may be, bro. He started DeAndre Jordan against the Nuggets when DeAndre Jordan was on his couch the night before. They asked him in the pregame, was like, hey, like, is DeAndre Jordan gonna get some minutes? And he was like, yeah, he might, since he played with the Nuggets before. He was on the Nuggets team. He's familiar with Joker. That man started. Bro. I'm like, Willie. Like he was bad though. The thing with the Derek Queen and the Looney stuff like that, I'm like, dog, like I know you see Derek Queen like killing Looney in practice. Though. Looney couldn't walk up the court. I forgot who it was posted the highlight on it was Shaden Sharp like giving us like 30. There's 5 of them. I commented on it though. In the clip, and this is to Chad's point, there's too many people with too much freedom. Kevon Looney is shooting 3.
Oh boy!
Like, bro, what's the Patrick Ewing stuff? Do you practice this? I mean, I guess he did. Practice it technically, because like, why are you shooting this? You ain't never shot a 3. You ain't Kevon Looney in high school no more.
I think they told Loon when he came here that he was gonna have more opportunities to open up his offensive bag. I'm being dead ass serious when they brought him in. That was something that Willie Green has said he has more to his game, so he'll be able to get an opportunity to do that.
That's the issue. There's too many people. Griff with the permission to dominate for Drew, the stuff with like Kevon Looney, like y'all are enabling the wrong people. Herb should not be shooting 15 shots a game.
Yeah. Yep. I have a great. Go ahead, Chaz.
Just to sum that point up, I think the thing that kind of symbolized everything we saw on the floor last season, and on social media, it was just this unseriousness. It was just a very, very loser heavy. That's why like you got a disciplinarian, a winner, and a guy, and Sham guys won several places. Now I think you're finally starting to get the pieces in place to where it was like, all right, now it's time to get serious, because when the substitute teacher had everybody act a fool. Even if you're a cool student, sometimes you act a fool. So now that we got, maybe some accountability, some expectations in the building, hopefully we see a better product.
Absolutely. You good, Lito, or you got a dip? What's your
I got about 20 more.
All right. Cool. Perfect. What I really want to do, especially why I got all y'all here, is I kind of want it, because I think we view the West a little different. Like some people might view the West as really strong. Some people might view it as, not so much. There's been some teams making moves, right? You see Minnesota get LaMelo. You see Golden State possibly will get LeBron. We'll see how that goes. The Clippers brought back BI, so BI got his ass back in the West, right? As these teams are continuing to make moves, Portland then brought over Ja. How do y'all feel after talking to, like, because now we, your mind is kind of rolling, like how, you view this team and the potential upside and stuff like that. How do you think this team stack up in the West? And that's kind of like, it's a lot of assumptions, right? Nobody don't fucking know nothing until it's time to start hooping and it's time to go out there and play. But if, in my opinion, if Mosley does his part, if the work that Zion is put in, or is actively putting in, Fears, all of these dudes look like they're actively working and they take the step. How do y'all compare them to the other teams in the West? Whoever wants to go first, go first.
I'll go then. I think this goes back to what I was saying earlier in the sense of like I think they're a playing team. Like I don't think they're 13, 14, 15 in the West. Like I think their ceiling in the West maybe is like 7 if everything goes right. Like but I just can't say like obviously Spurs, OKC, Denver, Lakers, many. Who am I missing?
5. That's my top 5.
Right.
That I don't think, unless they're dealing with some form of injury, I don't think you could do anything with that 5. Just not even because of the team and Lito, Chaz, what y'all thinking is I just think they got great players, right? Lakers with Luka, all you know what I'm saying? If he relatively healthy, that's like a 4 seed and up. Wemby and all, and what they, they just got like a shit ton of talent. You hear me? OKC with Shea, fucking him 2-time MVP. Go ahead.
So no, I'm just saying that's 5 teams I just named. Oh, I forgot to mention Houston. That's 6 teams.
I'm out on Houston. Not out. I got questions on.
That's
Houston.
fine. They won 52 games.
Who they just sign?
Tari Eason came back.
But yesterday.
Marcus Smart.
Yeah, Marcus Smart.
Fred VanVleet's probably gonna be back some point this year. Like, I'm not saying like Houston gonna win the West, but they better than us. So like those 6 teams, like KD is still even in his old age. Like,
give me another year.
If KD got put on our team, he'll be the best player on our team. Like, you know what I mean?
Give me another year, KD, to tear this shit down, dog. Give me another.
It's probably about to happen. He's gonna probably get traded. But like, that's 6 teams right there. I didn't even mention Golden State if they get Bron with KP, with Steph, with Jimmy Butler coming back, with whoever else they may get. Like,
you think they see Jimmy Butler this year?
I think
Jimmy Butler going to jail.
What you mean?
Well, that shit that came out about, I don't want to get too far. I think it was over for Jimmy.
He might. And then you add, so that's 6, 17. And then like, do we expect Portland to be better? They were what they were this year. They added Dame and they added Ja.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Pels, we had like 9.
All right, that's 7.
7. So maybe Phoenix.
So I got
Utah. Like now we down to like 9 and 10.
That's where you gotta land.
Right there.
Lito, where you at?
I think I'm probably 9 and 10.
Chaz, you in the same space, that 9-10 range?
Just about that. I kind of have them, but I got a couple possibles. I think that's a very, very large possibility that shit go bad in Minnesota. Like it's a large possibility.
I wish it, dog.
And I think Phoenix is another one of those. Like this could go either way. And I never count out Kevin Durant. So that's another team that it could go really bad, really fast. But I think today I would say the Pelicans are better than the Clippers today. I think they're better than Sacramento today. They're better than Memphis today. I think with Dallas, I don't trust Dallas about to just run it back like this. But hypothetically, let's say they do. I think Dallas is more of a toss-up. The teams that I have firmly better than them are Oklahoma, San Antonio, Denver, if they don't do something crazy, Lakers, which I think that could go in either direction. Because I think if Luka goes down, it's like, but let's just say Lakers, Houston, Minnie, Portland. And I think everybody else, Clippers, Golden State, because Clippers, Golden State, Dallas,
what y'all think of Utah?
Memphis. Oh, and Utah. I have Utah as better than the Pelicans. So that would be my
Utah. I don't think they done. I think they in a position where I think they go end up moving on from Laurie.
I was kind of torn on that as well. I don't know if it happens this season necessarily. I think it might happen at some point though, depending on how this season goes.
It's
Because
move off.
Huh?
It's gonna be Ace. They move off at some point.
I'm taking Ace, boy. Y'all crazy. Like personally, pause. That was a little wild. That was a little wild. I'm sorry. Yeah,
My dog having an all-time show.
Yeah, shit, bro. I'm cutting up right now. That's my bad, bro. That's my. Yeah. That's a little. Hold on.
How much more successful do you want me to be?
More successful.
How many records can my records break?
More records.
But I'm the best.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
You're welcome.
What the is he talking about?
Appreciate y'all, man. Make
Man,
sure
I
y'all
miss
hit
my
that
dog
like
Bees,
button.
man.
Man, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. I appreciate it. The way I see the West kind of shaking out, I don't know if that was crazy either, but I got all of the great players. Like if you got a great player and like a current great player, I just give you benefit of the doubt. Lakers, I give benefit of the doubt. Okay, the top five, I think we all in agreement on, right? Lakers, OKC, Spurs, Denver, mini barring injury. You know what I mean? Something like injury changes everything. Also, I think like a new coach kind of gives you. Chris talked about it. Y'all talked about it. Like sometimes when you get a new coach, that shit can change everything. Just the idea of having, you saw what Mike Brown did his first year in Sacramento. Like, and again, the West was a little weird that particular season, but new system, new defense, new offense, proper roster utilization. Like you could find yourself, getting into a groove and getting on a roll where like, some teams that's got a lot of these new players and whatnot might not have their rhythm right away. Depending on how the schedule fall, you might just find yourself in a situation where you could do a little bit better than, maybe Golden State with no Jimmy. If Brian don't, go to that team, then what happens? You fucking re-sign often injured Chris Stapps and Al Horford. Like we supposed to be nervous and Draymond.
I ain't gonna lie, boy. I think Golden State, it's over. Because
I think it's over too.
Like, because even with LeBron, like, that's the best. Like, LeBron and Al Horford, the best use of your resources at this stage. Jimmy got the ACL. And look, let's say Jimmy was healthy. Jimmy's an awful regular season player. Like, just awful. And Moses Moody got an ACL. So now it's like you're counting on Pods and Steph got to be down. And then if I'm an opposing team, trying to kill Steph, like doing it because now you ain't Draymond. Y'all better figure it out. So it's like it's gonna be crazy. Like I think that's why I think some teams just have so little margin for error. I don't think many has much margin for error. I mean, you got AO, but if something happens with Ant, and it's like God forbid, but hypothetically speaking, Ant or LaMelo, it's like fuck. Because Julius Randle is a very solid regular season player. All NBA guy.
Julius Randle. Yeah.
I think there's certain teams that don't got as much margin for error as some other teams, and that's why, like, if something happens to Booker, you would need Jalen Green to go
crazy.
Monster. Yeah, they added Miles Bridges, but it's like, have you ever seen Miles Bridges really contribute to winning? So it's
been terrible for
years.
years.
Very interested in the West. I think the Pelicans ceiling is probably like the 5th seed if everything go right and some shit go bad for some other people. But I got them firmly like 9. Yeah, 8 through 10 firmly playing.
But look, that's a win though, right? Like that's still a win.
I think so.
So my goal for this season for the Pelicans is like, look, you inherited a couple bad situations, right? Like you didn't trade for DeJounte. You couldn't expect Hawkins to be what he ended up being. Because look, you gotta keep it real. Niggas was saying Hawkins could be better than Steph. Niggas was talking like
I ain't gonna lie.
No,
I know I was throwing the Ray Allen on him.
I never understood it, right? But whatever, right? So let's say he does let's say some things you just can't anticipate. Like you can't anticipate Herb having the season he had. You inherited the DeJounte, Jordan Hawkins didn't really work out, etc. Right? All right, cool. I think you survived this season, but you got to do what it takes to clear the books going into next season. If you could get DeJounte off the books next season, Herb off the books for next season, and you got to extend Sadiq Bey potentially. Like, dog, I'm telling you, fuck free agency, fuck all the other shit. If you go into next offseason with that amount of luxury tax space and cap space, they giving niggas away in trades. Like, it's like, here, take him. We don't want this guy no more. Take him. Or like, this about to be a bad situation. We don't want to pay him. Just go ahead and take the contract. Like, you could easily be one of those teams that the Jazz, like, Lord, you make 40-something million. We got to pay Keontae George. We got to pay this guy. We just lost Kessler because we didn't want to pay this, and this. Take Laurie into your salary cap space and whatever. Like, sign and trade, give us whatever. Like, those opportunities will present themselves because that's how a lot of shit moving right now. Like you saw with Detroit, saw with Memphis, saw with Brooklyn, saw with Chicago. Shit, you just saw with the Lakers with Walker Kessler. They didn't send a single player back because they had all that cap. So if you're the Pelicans and you setting yourself up for next offseason and your goal is to survive this season, be a playing team, whatever, I'm with it if the foresight is there. And I've been told that's kind of like the plan, but we're gonna have to see if that comes to fruition.
I think that was my biggest thing. Like, I just like, bro, I want them to sign like free agents and stuff like that. But at the same time, don't be giving Jock Landale $14 million. Like that's like don't be doing that. Like even like Ayo, like I was like solid game 5 for 112, 22 million for Ayo. Like
that boy was a true role player most of his career.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, don't be that man had that 43-point game in the playoffs, and they was just like, we about to break
on the side of the hill. On the side of the hill.
Like, I think that's just my like. Don't be stupid just to say we stupid. Like even like Walker Kessler, like 32.5 million. He played 5 games last year and 18 the year before.
Bro, I like every move the Lakers made. I like every player they signed. I don't understand none of the moves except for I like every player. Like I like Grimes, I like Sandro, I like Colin Sexton, I like all these players. But I'm like, what? This just don't make no sense. Except for maybe Walker.
My bad, Chaz.
No, you good. My bad. Lito, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, you know what's crazy? Like, they gave Joe slack for obviously the DQ shit last year, that protected picks. Which, how do you feel about it? I mean, I love DQ as a prospect coming out of college. I just wasn't happy about how they acquired him. Right.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that, dog, I tweeted this shit. Rob Pelinka put a master class on how not to build a team. That shit was
spending money, bro.
That shit was truly phenomenal. You decided to not pay Bron to go pay who? You paid who? What?
Sandro, Quentin.
Kessler got 32 mil, bro. That shit was wild.
They don't have,
and you had to give up picks. They don't have a first for 7 years. Yeah, bro.
They have what it said. It's what $475 million invested in Luka, Reeves, and Walker Kessler.
Yeah.
And dog, Kessler, as much as I wanted Kessler on this team, like because he's a shot block and stuff like that, like defensively overall, he's not like that. He'll block some shots because he's 7'2". He's one of the slowest centers in the league, bro. He's nowhere near what Rudy was. Like, and I think that's what people get that he is not Rudy defensively at all.
And he's like 20 minute a game guy. My bad.
Lito, I was just about to say that. Like he's like a 20-25 minute a game guy too. And like I thought he would have topped that at like 28 million, which you could justify in today's league because you got to play Klingon, you got to play Wemby, you got to play this guy 4 times a year, etc. And like when you just look at the West, I don't know what the fuck Portland doing with Scoot and Drew and this guy. Now you don't really got no wings necessarily. You just drafted Yang at like what 15 or something like that.
Oh, he done.
And you just signed somebody. You gave up on him already. Seemingly. So it's like I hope that motherfucker turn into Jokic and we get him. Like, oh, you gave up on me, huh?
Yeah.
But you know,
Come
I
over
think,
here and learn the language.
Yeah, fuck that. What the boy Jen say, y'all gonna learn Chinese. But yeah, like I think a lot of players just like, what the fuck? Like even the Clippers, like shout out to old Tiny Dog. They got Tiny Dog. They're not with Garland. Both of them got like crazy injury histories. Because y'all gonna get that money to Ben Mathurin. Y'all ain't got no center really. Like what y'all lost.
They running back Brooks. They running back Brook Lopez.
Yeah, you bringing back Brooks is stealing money. Like if you ain't better, look, if you ain't better than some of these niggas, you just in the way. I ain't gonna lie. Like you should, you on paper better than them. So you just in the way if you can't at least be as good as some of these niggas. Like I don't think Phoenix got no good team. Y'all ain't get no point guard. So Devin Booker not gonna be the scoring threat that he could be because you ain't got no point. I'm not worried about Jalen Green whatsoever. I'm scared of Dylan Brooks. That's the nigga I'm scared of on that team. But everybody else, I'm kind of like,
I forgot he's still on the team. Huh?
Yeah, it's like, what is Kyrie gonna come right back? You know
they low key got a wasted pick too with like Kaman Malawak. Like,
I was about to say, I was thinking
Mark
that too.
Williams money. Y'all gave Mark Williams money. Like,
nigga, Lucky Leader on this show. I ain't gonna lie.
What's up?
I don't want to do that. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, bro, listen, at the end of the day, though, I just think overall, I think they have an opportunity, right? They have an opportunity to be better than what they've been, right? I think the talent is there to be better than what they've been. They also can't just completely rest on their laurels where they at, right? Like you can't just completely sit still. And even if sitting still mean, like what I mean by not sitting still is like, all right, look, at some point we might have to Chaz's point that he likes to make is at some point you might have to take the hit just to get off the Herb contract, right? Or whatever you might have to do. If you believe in the future and fears, even if DeJounte is possibly having a great year, if you see an opportunity to get off the DeJounte contract, open up the path for Fizz, and then you use that as something else that you need on your roster. There's ways to move forward to put you in a better situation, but it's not just like, whoa, look at Louisiana Gale in the building.
What else? That's my dog.
Whoa, falling through. So it's just there's options and opportunities for them to not just be a complete shit show. I think the coaching move kind of helps solidify that, and I just think that puts. This is the true year one, in my opinion, for Joe and Troy, and we'll see. And honestly, if these motherfuckers trash, I think everybody gone by the deadline anyway.
I think that's what it is. I ain't gonna lie. I think that's what it is. I think it's a show and prove, like, yeah, and then they reassess.
No excuse, because it's really, for us, even roster construction, like if everyone's relatively healthy, like in free agency, you probably can't get a better guy than DeJounte right now at the point guard position. You know what I'm saying? And some of the other positions, maybe center, maybe you can improve your center situation.
What center would you run out better than Eves right now that's available in free agency? Drummond, maybe?
I like Eves, so I don't really want to say too
That's
much.
what I'm saying. Like, I don't think well, just the centers who are out there now. I don't know.
For what you need, you probably had a couple options. Certainly not fucking Jock Landale, but I think you could have potentially. You can still potentially get like a Drummond who averaged like 8 rebounds last year. Somebody like that. But
taking no pay cut.
Yeah, a guy like that. But see, here's the thing too. There's more teams than you got options. And you'll fuck around being welcome to France. And by the end of the year. But but the Pelicans could offer him like $8-9 million. That'll be double what he made last year. If you was doing like a 1-year deal or a fake Looney type deal, you know what I'm saying? There's a relationship there with Troy and Joe, of course, but I think they got avenues to get better. They got some solid talent on the team already. If you got a cool goal, like play-in goal, cool. Because I think they could have made the play-in last year. That can't be the ultimate goal, and I don't think it is. But until you get some of this bad money off the books, like when Poole falls off, when DeJounte hopefully falls off, when Herb hopefully falls off, Jordan Hawkins falls off, then you can really start your roster construction and really start bringing in the talent that you might desire that's out there. The next year, boy, it's a hell of a motherfucking free agency next year. A lot of people gonna be moving around next year, and some of these teams' window is closing fast.
And bro, all you need is a little, like, I know we said they like we ain't no like free agent destination, and like the last couple of years that's true. But bro, when we were the Hornets, bro, we got Peja, we got Ryan Anderson, we got I think David West was a free agent. Like,
and we drafted D West.
We drafted D West. Okay, But, that's right. But like Peja, Rhino, Rondo, Julius Randle, like we've gotten like they're not the top like your A1 stars at the time, but like we've gotten free agents here, like just a little. Even with the, I know it's football, it's the Saints, but dog, when the Saints winning, but everybody trying to pull up to the to play with the Saints and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's like you do the same and get that reputation. And even if you have a losing season, it's already built up to where like, I'm going to the city.
And I think with the mechanisms changing so much, like you could trade a nigga to the MLE, you could trade a nigga into your cap space, like certain things that didn't exist before. Kind of like, well, you ain't got no choice, but I'm sending you Julius Randle. You going to Brooklyn? Pack your shit. Nick Claxton, pack your shit. You going to Chicago? Melo, pack your shit. You can pack all them cars. You going to Mini because now you got cap space. And now that you could do that, that's a major weapon for a team like the Pelicans who you couldn't really do nothing before.
You know what's another good way to attract people? Let's say you get into the play-in, right? Right? You get into the play-in, and you know why a lot of teams like CJ, for example, was willing to come to New Orleans? Because CJ remember what this bitch was like when he was getting spanked in that playoff series, how loud this bitch was. You know what I mean? Like this, for example, when we played the Suns, not that Devin Booker would ever consider truly coming here, but a lot of people talk about the atmosphere when the team is good and how though if you good and like you can like if you could just be decent enough throughout the season and get people to come consistently. So when you got these teams that that's coming to, you can't be out of the shit by November, though. Like your season just can't be over by November. To where when you get in, bro, like you can't do it. Now if you get those December games, January, where people coming to the games and it's packed and it's loud, and then you get that through a regular season, you might have more free agents being like, shit, I might be willing to consider going to New Orleans. Like like you already know the city is one of those places that's unlike any place you ever been to once you get here. And then two, if the fan base will show up, but we ain't showing up for no motherfucking loser, obviously. Like if you start winning some games, I think that atmosphere kind of makes a difference.
I think too, niggas need to stop letting some of the players get away with just talking sporty. Like if you was a motherfucking role player,
flash out on Josh Hart, man. What's wrong with y'all?
Well, I didn't even want to say his name, but that nigga, like, man, get out of here, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some of these dudes be talking so fucking sporty, and you like. Well, cuz if you remember, David Griffin said you called him and begged to be here.
Hold on, real quick, Chad. Man, Lito, dog, I appreciate you for coming through, bro.
Man, it's love.
Always,
man, you already do it, man. Hey. Say it's love. Whenever y'all want me to come back, nigga, I'm there.
Say, bro, listen, you got the link, bro. It's an open door. If you see me podding, you see Chad's podding or whatever, if we on the Pels and the Blizzard, you always welcome, bro.
Talk about the film review, bro.
What you said?
Tell them about the film review you did, bro. You and Chris did.
Oh, on Jerron?
Yeah.
So man, we did a film review on Jerron PM, and we just talked about like really the start, you know what I'm saying, where it started from, like, the beginning, like the development, like going to Southern Miss, going to Jacksonville State, how he ended up at SMU, and like we talked to Rory, Coach Rory. And Rory gave us a lot of like insight on like he was like an open book. He answered a whole bunch of questions about like what he worked on, what he had to work on, what he bring to the team. And man, just the consensus word is just he a dog. You know what I'm saying? He's just a dog, and he from the city. He of the city. He know like what the city wants. Like exactly what y'all talking about. What people talking sporty. Like you ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, I'm from here. You got to look me in the eye and say that shit. You can't really just. You know what I'm saying? You can't just really. You know. You can't just tweet me like
you can't make no Katrina comments.
Nah. We not feeling that. You know what I'm saying? And I do think it's gonna be a level of respect in the locker room because they ain't never had somebody from here before. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great point.
Oh dang, you disrespecting my dog, Spanky Johnson. Oh no.
Oh my fault. Damn.
Oh no. Right. Nah, I'm fucking with you. But yeah, the Pelicans haven't had nobody. Spanky was the Hornets.
Yeah. The Pelicans ain't never had a New Orleanian before. It's different. It's different. That's a different type.
I guess he's here in the West Bend. Y'all count Alfred Payton?
I get no. You know what? Yeah. I'm fucking over.
Ain't even like well.
I just seeing him too, dog. That's my bad.
It's still different. Man. It's still different, man. It's still different.
Drafted. Let's say drafted.
Drafted.
Yeah.
Drafted.
That's good. Man, clean.
Yeah. But man, look, dog. I appreciate everybody. You heard me that tapped in. Make sure y'all hit that like button, bro. Appreciate it. Mike, you tell people where to find you.
And dribble like Mike, man. I'm gonna try to make sure I come back to get more of these pods again, bro. I got some time. My daughter passed. She in the toddler stage, but she's sleeping now, so I'm good. I'm back in the fold of everything now.
That's what I'm talking about, dog. Chaz, you already know what you want. Everybody want to drop where they can be found at, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, man. You know, Pelicans critic number one, dog. Cheddar, you know what I'm saying? Me, at Cheddar Chaz. Y'all already know. Just tap in with me. Yes, indeed. Thank you for having me, brother.
Always, dog. Always, man. Appreciate y'all. We're gonna get out with this one right here. And then we're going to call it.
We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. And then you will run a mile. Perfection. Let's go to work.
Appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. May Davis, Pels, and the Blender. Make sure y'all catch us on the next live. You heard me? Y'all be safe. Enjoy y'all weekend. I'm out. Peace.